Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony. If you follow me, you know I just love building these huge scale RC kits, in particular the Armortek kits. And if you are following me, you know that we're coming to the end of the Series 1 build. In fact, this will be the last build video of this series. I've thoroughly enjoyed the whole journey, and I just love how my Land Rover looks. So in the last session, we prepared all the accessories that I want to put onto the Land Rover. So in this session, it's going to be, you know, attaching those to the Land Rover, finishing it all off, and really hopefully making it sort of really stand out as a finished model. I also want to try and do a bit more work on the canopy. I think obviously I test fitted it in the last session, but I really wasn't happy how it looked, so it needs a bit more work. I was thinking about weathering it, but I've decided against that. I'm sticking to my guns about a brand new Land Rover coming out of the factory, so this is where I'm going with that. And I've also made my mind up about the spare wheel, where I'm going to pop that. So if you've been following me, it was like the kit suggests, and for this model, there's a little recess in the back of the tailgate here, which is designed to take the spare wheel. However, I've decided to put it on the bonnet, and the reason why I want to do it on the bonnet is a couple of reasons, really. One is I've seen lots of them look like this, and two, I just think it looks mean and really, you know, gritty, if you like, on the front, and I just think that you're going to see it. Whereas if it's in the back here with the canopy on, even though I'm planning to have the side curtain up, it's going to be, you really won't appreciate it. Plus I've got you know, quite a lot of accessories I want to put into the back just to give it some realism. So I've gone for the wheel on the bonnet. I know there's some of you out there will probably shout and scream at me, but you know, at the end of the day, I personally think it looks really smart. Plus, oh yeah, also, how am I going to attach it? So I was thinking about this. The two downsides to putting or mounting the wheel onto the bonnet, and I guess this would have been the same in the real Series 1, is one, you can't get the windscreen down all the way. So, you know, these windscreen rests here on the bonnet are designed to take this windscreen when if the wheel's not in place. So that's one downside. The other downside is, if I want to get access to the bonnet to get all the electronics, I can't open the bonnet all the way back, which is what I really want to do. So considering all sorts of things, I thought putting a little bolt through it, which I still might do, but then it's just fiddly. Or why don't I just Velcro it? At least with Velcro, I can remove it very quickly. The only problem is you do end up with a bit of Velcro stuck on the bonnet. So I may decide during the course of this video to drill a small hole and put a little bolt through a bit of threaded rod and see if I can just attach it like that. So jury's out on that. I may still do that. Anyway, so that's that. And I've got all these beautiful accessories that I'm going to add on to the Series 1, which I really hope is going to transform it into something a bit special. So what I'm going to do in the time-honoured fashion is I'm going to reset the camera and we'll get cracking. Okay, so the first thing I want to put on here now is the little Land Rover badge, which should go, I've looked at my reference books, and it should go down around about 2 of the grid on the front grille here. And it just goes dead center of this grille here, and then on the back, spin this around, it goes, I think I'm pretty sure it goes underneath this rear tail light here, just here. So because the number plate will go this side, and on here the number plate goes on this side. So we're going to do the two the front and rear badges and the front and rear number plates. So previously I painted this. Very good, yeah. Get it into the camera shot. Sorry. I got these from Charles Stewart off the Armortek forum. I don't know if you can see that. Very difficult to see, I guess, they're so small. And I previously painted it with the chrome paint just to bring the lettering out, sorry. To bring the lettering out. So now we're going to put a bit of the old B7000 glue on the back of this. The reason why I'm using the B7000 is that it gives me a little bit of flexibility. So just going to pop a bit of that glue on the back, and also it doesn't react to the paint. Sometimes you use super glue, you get a reaction. So I'm just going to make sure I've got that the right way up, and I'm just going to turn it towards me a second, and I'm just going to do this by eye. I'm just going to turn it towards me a little bit. Maybe just a little bit over. Bear with me, guys, sorry. and that's it. It's now on. I mean, it's a small detail, but it just really completely, well, yeah, it just brings it up a level, doesn't it? Right, now the long awaited number plate. So this goes on the front like so, and again, my trusted B7000 glue. I left the brass exposed on the back so I get a decent adhesion. I'm just going to put a liberal amount of glue on the back of that. There's a little bit of weight. There's a little bit of weight in this plate, tiny enough, not heavy, but it's enough to allow gravity to try and sort of do its job. So I'm going to leave the glue just cure a few seconds, and then we can put it straight on to the Land Rover. But what I might as well do is do the same to the back of this, the back one, while I've got it up. And we can, and once that's gone off, we can apply them to the front and the back. I think that's enough time for the glue to hopefully cure. So I'm just going to turn this to my favour, and I'm going to just apply the number plate using, just doing this by eye. And I'm just cross-checking something in one of my reference books, bear with me. Yeah, it is towards the bottom, so I'm just going to pull that down ever so slightly. Again, this B7000 glue is incredible stuff. It's really good, high adhesion, but it's flexible, and it allows you to do a little bit of work on it before the glue goes off. So that is the number plate. Wants to go off already, thinks he's ready, wants to go on a run. I'll tell you what we'll do at the end of this. I'll put the batteries in it and we'll put the lights on and we'll have a look at it with its lights on. So that's the number plate installed. I can't remember, that's such a long time ago I did these. Don't know if you guys watched that video. So that's the badge on the front and the number plate on the front. And I think even if those tiny little additions, it really makes a difference. So let's go around now and do the back. So, going to pop this on here. Sorry, I'm just having it in my favour for a minute, guys, while I just applying a bit of pressure onto that. Look at that. These little details really do make a difference. Right, time for the badge on the other side. Sorry, I'm doing this away from camera. Make sure I get it the right way up. And that's going to go just going to turn this around so I can see. And there you go. That's the badge on the back. Look at that. That's starting to slip, but that's fine. What I might do is put a little clamp on that actually. I can actually get a clamp on that, can I? Yeah. Just hold that in place while the glue goes off. Right. That should hold that in place. Lovely. Really like that. Sorry, getting carried away. I just can't believe I'm this close to finishing this incredible model. And the more detail we add to this, the better and better it looks. I also worked out how to do these little panels here, which I'll talk to you about very shortly. Yeah, because I really wasn't happy with that canopy at all. I wasn't doing Armortek any credit for that at all. So yeah, that just needs a little bit more time to go off. So we'll wait for that glue to go off before we do any more, and then we can crack on. One of the aftermarket things I'm going to do on this Land Rover, and it's not strictly you know, accurate, but nonetheless I'm going to do it, is to put on an aerial mount onto the fender here, the wing. So I've already marked my spot where I'm going to drill, and the reason why I'm drilling it is that I've got this aerial mount here which has got this threaded rod on the bottom. I've got this from Armortek. Oops, bring it into the camera. I've got this from Armortek. I just think it's a really nice additional detail, and checking the reference book that I've got for the RAF Land Rover that I've got in my reference book, this is you know, this is what you'd expect to see. So anyway, I'm now gonna I've got my drill. I've got a tiny little pilot drill, tiny little 1.5mm, sorry, where are we, drill in my pilot drill, and I'm just going to very carefully, and what I'll also do, so I don't want to damage the bodywork, I'm just going to put that there. If you're not careful, the chuck, if it goes through, can damage the bodywork. So I'm just going to go slowly. There we go. Perfect. And you can see what I mean. If I didn't have this pad with me, the chuck, let me bring it into the camera, this chuck here would drop down and damage the paintwork, so I don't want that. So that's a little pilot drill done. Just need to take the hole up now. So bear with me while I bring the size of the hole up to the size that I want. And put that again, just protect that. Really don't want to damage the paintwork, and I don't want, I mean, it's not going to reach the tire, I don't think, but it's getting there. Going very slowly. Gradually just making that hole. Don't want to put too much pressure on this, so patience is the key here. Getting there. It's like anything, you don't have to do this. This is just something that I want to do. I don't think we're not going to be long now. Surprisingly thick, this steel. There we go, and we're through. So now I can just pass that through, and then we'll get that glued into place like so. And the reason why I've left this on I've left this on because it helps me with just bonding it into the final place. I could have cut this off, but I quite like the idea. And it's not as if, even if it went down full suspension, it's not going to hit the tyre. So I'm happy with that. So now the only thing we need to do with that is to glue that into place. Let's just pop this drill out of the way. Get the old B7000 glue. This is great glue, this. I know it sounds like they're sponsoring me, but they're not, I can assure you. Just it's a glue I've discovered, and as a model maker, I just wish I'd have known about it, you know, years ago. Or maybe it wasn't even available years ago. Just making sure that that's just spreading the glue around. So we'll let that go off, and then we'll carry on. So the next job I'm going to do is this little wiper blade here, which is what we did or glued previously, and it's got a tiny little blade on the face of that, and that's obviously going to hit the windscreen. So I'm just going to run my Sharpie along that edge. So it gives the impression there's a rubber blade on it. And then we're going to basically just get that and glue this into position. And in the manual, again, there's no real hard and fast instructions, but one of the fixings on the windscreen here, it looks as if the intention is to glue that to that. So surprise, surprise, I'm going to use my B7000 glue. And again, I promise you, they're not sponsoring me. I'm just going to put a dab of glue on there. And a dab of glue on there. I'm going to leave that to just do its thing and start curing before we attach it to the windscreen. So that's that. And while we're waiting for that to go off, I'm also going to, the little bonnet catches, I'm also going to do a similar thing to them. Just going to put some B7000, sorry, I'm trying to do this so you can see, just on the surface of that. Same with that one. And we can put the glue away now. Wait for that to just go a little bit tacky. Then we can apply those to the bonnet. So I'll do that, I'll wait, and I'll be straight back. Right, so that's the bonnet catches installed and the windscreen wiper installed, literally just glued into position. Now the next thing we want to do is do these wing mirrors. I've already applied the glue and allowed them to cure a little bit. Now what you be careful of here is that you don't want the door to bind on it, because this plate here actually oversells the windscreen frame. So I'm just going to make sure, and it goes in the center. And if you use the center fixing of the windscreen as a guide, then you really can't go wrong. I'm only doing this by eye. Now I've just got to move that over so it doesn't bind with the door. So that's that. Holding that into place, trying to find the right position for it, and that's it. Difficult to get a clamp on this because, well, it's just difficult, there's nowhere to clamp it. That's it. Do the other side. I'm not going to put the wing mirrors on just yet. Because we've still got a bit more work to do. We'll do that at the very end. So I'm just going to try and do this. Firstly, position it where I think it's got to go, roughly center, and then I've just got to concentrate on not, so I'm just going to move this in my favor a bit. Don't want that door binding. just needs to be pulled out a little bit. Hold that, whoops, into position. And that's fine. Just got to wait for that glue to go off. So we'll wait for that glue to go off, and then we'll crack on with the next stage. Right, so time to apply some decals. Now, I searched high and low on the internet, and this is what I came up with, found. So there's a mixture of, if you like, adhesive stickers and some transfers, the standard classic transfers. The problem is, the size of the rondel, the REF rondel, varies so much. Trying to find a 1:6 scale, 1:6 scale what? So I've sort of experimented with many, and I've come up with what I believe is the right solution. So the transfer side, I just think that this rondel is too big. This is too small. I do prefer using transfers, by the way, but I think I'm stuck with this one. Whereas on this one, these adhesive applied stickers are about the right size. So although it's going to make my life a little bit easier, I really typically don't like using these. But according to my reference book, this goes dead center. I'm just trying to get it. Let me just move it to my, so I've got it in my favour. Before I really, there we go. That's it. So now it's got this REF symbol on the front, and then on the back there's a symbol that's going to go on here, but it's actually the flag, if you like, would normally go on a plane, but it's going to go on here on the bottom here in the order of red, white and blue, as you'd expect. So this is a transfer. Let's move these out of the way. So I'm just going to loosely cut around the one I want. And just checking that the water's tepid, and it is. Just going to pop that in there for a few seconds. Get these out of the way. Put the knife away safely. And what you don't want to do is you don't want to leave this in there too long. What you want to do is just make sure that it starts sliding on the back paper and it's not quite ready yet. Hopefully this will this will go on with no issues. Let's see if that's going to start sliding yet. No, it needs a bit more time in there. Let's just see if this, there we go. It's now sliding nicely on the back paper. You can see that, I don't know if you can see that. So that's that. We're going to go red, white and blue. So just going to slide that off. Just position it loosely on there. I'm going to turn this in my favour again. Just get the excess water out of it and the air. Just get a bit of kitchen roll just to gently dab that. Just bring it back to me so I just make sure it's on square. And that's it. So it's got his red, white and blue on the back as well, denoting it as an REF Land Rover. So that's all the decals I'm going to put on. It's tempting to go all mad, but you wouldn't have this. Normally you would have the tyre pressures also stenciled onto the wheel arches. I have looked high and low for a stencil and I can't find it. But that's probably a day two kind of job. But if there's anyone out there that knows anybody who does stencils at 1:6 scale, with this kind of the tyre pressures or whatever. I'd like to know, or if you've managed to find somebody. But that would be the only thing missing in the way of sort of decals and sort of more sort of paint details. That's the only thing. So now we're going to get on to finishing off the canopy. Right, so do you remember these little things here? Well, obviously these go, they cover up the handles. Now these are brilliantly made because there's tiny little magnets in here, tiny little magnets. But in my reference book, it wouldn't be applied to the front like that. It would be applied to the back and fed through like that. So that is pretty much, if I open that up so you can see, the little magnets just attach themselves to the mild steel frame behind, and I'll pull that through so that it looks closer to the real thing. And then these little strips, again, beautifully made, and they've got a magnet, so they will go on there at the end once the canopy is in place. So you know what, I hadn't paid enough concentration, if you like, when I unpacked this canopy. And hats off to Armortek, because they've really thought about this, because obviously you don't want to be gluing this into position, because if you want to take it off and have the canopy free, without the canopy you wouldn't have all this on. So they've thought about that. Little magnets, what a lovely thought, what a really nice idea. So that's that. But before I go on and do the canopy, we're going to do the spare wheel first, and then I'm going to start building up the accessories in the back of my Land Rover, because obviously once that canopy's on, then it's going to be trickier or harder to do that. So let's go and do that. So the first thing I'm going to do is the spare wheel. Right, well, decision's made. I'm going to try Velcro, and the thing is, if Velcro doesn't work, I can always bolt it in position. So I'm going to try Velcro. So I've cut a piece of Velcro just to the curves of the spare wheel, of the rim, if you like, and I'm doing this for the first time. So I'm obviously going to have the outside face of the rim facing upwards, downwards, so the inside facing upwards. So first thing I'm going to do is just apply that to this, and I guess all the purists are now screaming at the camera. And I guess I just thought about bolting it through and everything else, but I just thought I then changed my mind. So I'm just going to see if I can get that to, excuse me, I'm just going to move this around, so I want it roughly center of the bonnet. There you go. Nice. No need to do anything else. If I decide, and the lovely thing about these models is that you can always go back and revisit details if necessary, but I think that looks really cool. I love that. I think that's about right. Really, really pleased with that. Look at that now, with all these little details starting to build up and add to it. And obviously we've still got the wing mirrors to go on, but I'm not going to do that until the canopy's on. What a transformation. What a transformation. I love this. I love this. Thank you, Armortek. You've done an amazing job on this. So let me just, it's desperate. It wants to go. It must know the time is ready. Okay, so now we'll start looking at some of the accessories that I bought for the back. Okay, time to have a bit of fun now. So I've based my Land Rover Series 1 loosely around a post-war, post-Second World War, I should say, RAF service vehicle. And so you're not going to really expect to see any weaponry in this, but you will see various other bits and bobs. And I've trawled the internet and found as many things as I possibly could to accessorize it in how I want to do it anyway. So as you saw earlier on, I installed this aerial. And what do you need for an aerial? Well, you're going to need a radio set. And so I found this really smart radio set on the internet, 1:6 scale. It's possibly not quite the right era, but I should imagine it's fairly close. I found it was all in bits, and I had to sort of repair it and sort of touch the paintwork up and everything else. But it's quite a lovely piece of kit, and very lucky to find it. And I think it will work perfectly in place in the back of my Series 1, like so, as a radio set. I've also got some headphones and all that to go on that, and I'll do that later. Also, I've got some fuel cans. So I've got another one that I painted up here, which you probably didn't see me paint, but it's just what they call the old flimsy cans, 3D painted, or sorry, 3D printed. I've got the fuel cans that I painted last week, these little red fuel cans. So I think they really sort of add a little bit of detail in it. And I've also found this beautiful little toolbox, and it's got the individual tools in it, just all made up. I mean, they're a little bit shiny, so I might just turn them around. I don't really want to see I might even use that one. I don't know. I think well, whatever. We'll leave them in for now. But so they're all individual little tools. So I reckon a toolbox will be found on the back of that as well. And then I was thinking, what else can I find? And I found a box of rations. Look at that, little wooden box with little cardboard boxes inside, just with loads of little boxes, empty boxes. And I think that's also going to add to the look and feel of the back. I've also got a map that I might try and fix to the inside of the canopy. So that's the rationale behind that. So now I've already sort of put Velcro on the bottom of all these. So now I'm just going to sort of decide where I'm going to put them. So let's get cracking. So I think the radio set is pretty happy with it's going to go on that side. So I'm just going to now remove the paper off the back of the Velcro. This is where you can use your imagination. Don't get hung up on whether or not how accurate it is or whatever. Just have a bit of fun, personalize it to you. And I think I said in the last video that one of the things I love about this particular kit is the ability to really personalize it. So it's you're not building unless you're into that. You're not trying to build a museum sort of level model. It's just something for your own pleasure and satisfaction. So that's the Velcro moved off of that. Just going to loosely lay that there for now, and I'm going to position that more or less in the center. So that's in its position there. I think because I've got this, and this is another reason why I didn't want to put the spare wheel in the back here, because I wanted to put these accessories in. So I think what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the fuel cans to partially hide the well, which would have been for the spare wheel. I probably wouldn't put the fuel over there by the radio though, would you? So I'm just going to put that on there like that. So that's in there. I think the toolbox can probably go next to it. So just undo the paper off the back of that. Try not to tip all the little tools out. I'm not worried about whether I'm not going to glue them in. The only reason I'm putting them in with Velcro is just that I don't want them bouncing around. Obviously when it's driving around. Okay, I'll tell you what, that's going to go that side. So that's now in over there, like so. And I think I might even mount the fuel cans up here, What do you think? What do you think? Maybe. Or do we put the box of rations up here? Maybe the box of rations up there. And maybe we just put the fuel cans or box of rations. Look at that fits in quite well in there. That fits quite well there. Decision made. It's going to go, fuel cans are going to go, I think, in there like that. And box of rations in there like that. Actually up on there like that. So that's how it's going to be. So I'll carry on fixing these in place, and then we will definitely get onto the canopy. Right, so now I'm going to get onto the canopy, but it's going to be a little bit fiddly. I might we'll see how we get on, but I might ask Ben if he feels it's right to speed the whole process up, because I could end up spending a lot of time trying to get this looking right. So we'll see how we get on. So first thing I'm going to do is just put the front ones in, and then we've got the canopy to go over the the roof. Got to try and make this look a lot better than I did previously. I'm going to undo these straps because I'm not happy with the way that's rolled up. And I know the Armortek guys watch my videos, so big shout out to all of you guys, and hope what I'm doing is comes with your approval. So we just pop that one in the back, make sure that's in and locked in, and it is. Right, so let's undo the back straps as well, because I want to tidy that up. That's not right. So let's just have a look at this. I think I'm going to unlace that. To unlace that. Remember before I super glued. Mind you, that's actually been. Oh, that's that bottom one. I super glued the ends of these so they didn't fray. So you just make sure you make yourself a nice clean cut, and then just put a little bit of glue on the end of the string, or the rope, should I call it, so that it doesn't fray. So now I'm just thinking I should really just, if I fold that in like that, I'm going to have to move this around to my favour, and then if I then, while that's folded in, then I roll it up very carefully. That looks so much better already. Now, tell you what I'm going to do. Pop that there. Get a clamp, because I don't want that to unroll. Got to find the straps. I'm just going to put a clamp on that to stop that from coming undone. Thread this through that way. And then I'm just going to pull that as tight as I can. Same here. Actually, you know, whoever's made these for Armortek, you've done a great job. So I'm happier with that. I think that looks a lot better than the way I had it before. Then we've got these, which I really want that to go round. I really want that to do that. So I'm trying to think of the best way to do that. I'm thinking, we've got this rope, but I'm also thinking, how about I put a bit of Velcro on that, just to get that to look, I want it to go round so it looks like that. If I was to put a bit of Velcro on the rod itself, because I tried lacing it, but when I will still put the lace through it, but it just pulled it in like that, which is no good. So that's what I'm trying to achieve, that look there. So I'm going to get some Velcro and I'll be back. Right, I've cut a very small, narrow piece of Velcro. I don't know, you could be witnessing a problem here, but let's see how we get on. I'm going to put this, I want to attach it to the rod rather than to the Series 1 itself. Now, just got the small job of trying to peel the paper off without pulling the Velcro apart. And you'd think it's quite easy, but come on now. There we go. It's all about smoke and mirrors, guys. We just want it to look right, don't we? So that's in there. So I think that's looking a bit better. I mean, I'm tempted to put it on the Series 1 itself, but I think that's wrong, because obviously if you take this off, you've got the Velcro left over. We don't want to be doing that. So I'm sort of reasonably happy with that for now. We'll do the same on this side. I'm going to pull that underneath that. So just apply the put that on the actual bar itself. Pull that fairly tight. You can see that that's actually starting to look a bit better. Just, I think over the fullness of time it will. I might put another bit up the top there to pull that round. I just want it to look right. Or maybe what we do is we lace these. So I'm going to try and do that now. Thread that through. Who knows? It could actually work. That might work. Look at that. If we were to, or maybe, let's just see what happens this side. Do the same. Did I miss a hole? No. Interesting. Just go through and do the same thing. I'm having a bit of fun here actually. I'm enjoying this. I'm actually, the more I look at the canopy, and I think if I can tidy this up and make it look a bit better than it was before, I think it's really going to set this Land Rover off. So what about if I was to, I'll tell you what, why don't we put that through as the last one. Sorry, I'm talking to myself here, guys. But, oh, look at that, yeah. So if I go back through there, and how about we tie them off? How about we tie them off so they look like, so it looks a little bit like that. So I won't do that just yet. Now I'm going to try, oh, you know what, I've done the Velcro on this side, haven't I? Look at that, I've done the Velcro on this side, and I actually want to roll this up. So, no harm done. Velcro is the reason why we use this sort of thing as a solution. Now, yeah, that's right. It's a shame really, because I would have liked to have seen that. I don't really want to see that, but I kind of want to roll this up. Just think that it could look quite good with the accessories on show. I don't know what you think. But then you've got this rod on show. All right, I'm going to do a bit more thinking on that and come straight back.
10 seconds later.
Right, I've made the decision. I'm actually going to have this rolled up. I think it looks really cool. So I'm just going to very carefully roll this up tight as I can. There's my little clamp. Just clamp that in place. I don't want it coming undone. And we'll just, as before, just pass this through these lovely little buckles. I know I've said it, but this, the more time, well, I think when you first get this out of the plastic bag, you think, really? And then when you start working with it, you think, actually, there's a huge amount of thought that's gone into this, and care in the production of it. Oops. I'll close that, just in case I damage that. One thing I will say, when I was sort of messing around deciding what to do with the canopy and all that, I inadvertently caught one of the wing mirrors, the mounts, and broke it. This is very thin and very fragile white metal, so be careful. I've glued it back now. I'm hoping that the super glue will, that's really frayed there. I'll have to just cut that just to give us a better, trim that off. Yeah, so just be careful when you're handling this with the wing mirrors on, because the chances are you could inadvertently catch them. Just pull that tight. I really like the look of that. I will turn this around in a minute for you so you can see. I might go around and trim all these off when I'm done. Yeah, so I mean, it's a lovely detail, but it's not the strongest, so just be mindful of that when you're handling your Land Rover. Just pull that tight. Tuck that Velcro in, I don't want to see that. And I'm going to tuck that. I might just feed that through there, so we don't want to see that. Just tuck that in there. So that's rolled up on the side. So I want to be able to see into the Rover, or Land Rover I should say, when it's on display. I'm just going to trim these so they don't fray. And I will put a little dab of super glue on the ends just to stop them from fraying. So now we come to just looking at this, and I want this, just turn that into there. I want this to come round and, if you like, fold round like that. So what I'm gonna do, I think, I'm gonna lash it, if you like, onto this handle at the bottom here, just so that I can get this to pull that over. Put it on its side. Trying to remember Boy Scout knots. Yeah, there you go. There you go. That looks better, doesn't it? Just tuck that around a bit. Bit more dressing. I just don't want to leave it without, you know, just don't want to leave it in the way I had it before. What I'll probably do is pop that. Sorry, I'm just going to pop that inside there, like that. Sorry, I just don't like leaving these trailing ropes or whatever. I think that'd be all right. A lot happier with that. Just need to get that dressed around a bit more, like that. So that's that. So now let's just look at the side here. So this, this is the wing mirror mount that I broke earlier. It's just very soft metal, so you've got to be so careful. So this part here of the canopy sits inside the door frame, and when you shut the door on it, it pulls that fairly tight. And then the idea is that this magnet should hold it in place. I guess we could just leave it like that, but I quite like the idea of it, because it in my reference books it shows it this coming through there like that. And so the door is just going to come through, just so I can shut the door handle like so. Now the door's, so that pulls that tight. And this, with the magnets on, goes on like that. I think it's a little bit too long for what it should do. Do you know what? I'm actually thinking about because that magnet's, it's okay. Hang on, I can get the door open now. There we go. It's okay, but it doesn't stay on there. I might just glue that, you know. Again, probably people shouting at me, oh, you shouldn't do that, but I don't want to lose it. Imagine that. Oh, it's the wrong way around for a start. What way around are you? That's it. I might just glue that in, you know, because imagine if you're driving this around with the canopy on and it comes loose and it falls off. You'll never find it. So I might just glue that on, as well as the magnets. I might actually just put a bit of glue on that, just to hold that in place. But we'll do that off camera. I'm just trying to demonstrate to you how all this, I think all this goes. So I'm going to just, door handle. There we go, door handle there. That should, hang on. That should, magnets just go on that like that. I think that's supposed to cover that up. Like that. Yeah, I think that's good. As you can see, it looks so much better, doesn't it? It does look so much better. And over time, I think it will form a better shape anyway. So just got to do the same thing to this. Actually, that comes down that door. Shuts like that. And you'll get the other magnetized version. I'm going to put this on there, even though I've got the canopy sort of down. And that's that. Do you know what? I actually love that. I really think this is now transformed. A little bit more dressing, I think. Just a little bit more dressing. So I'm going to do that off camera. Then I'm going to put the batteries in, or the battery in. Put my little driver in there. Finish off a few things inside, and then we are complete. Wow. So that's it. The end of another epic build. I am a bit sad, actually, going to be honest with you. I've loved every minute of this. I've really looked forward to coming into my workshop and just working on this beautiful model. You know, it's another one to add to the collection, so to speak. So I'll pop this away with my other certificates, and I'll put all the fixings in the box, ready for if I ever need any spares. But you know, I've absolutely loved this, the entire process of this, and like other kits, there have been some frustrations, but you know, that's part of the hobby and part of the joy of the hobby. So you know what, I think Armortek have done an incredible job of this. I just love it, and I love in particular, and I've said it before, the ability to make it your own, to personalize it, you know, to make it how you want it. Just because it, you know, just because it's you know, most of these are green, don't have to be green. You can do it in any form you want. I mean, if I was doing another one of these, I guess I'd probably do it in a safari type finish, you know, something along those sort of lines. But that's the, you know, how diverse it is, to the range that you can do with this. And so really, when you start, it's incredible when you build one of these models and you start putting it together, and all those details, you know, all the sort of bits and pieces. I mean, a lot of it you can't see because it's underneath. It's part of the chassis, you know, the springs and everything else, and the diffs and all that. You can't see it, but then you start putting all the details together, and the time you spend preparing and painting, and look at the results. It's worth it. You know, the joy you get from when it all comes together, and in my opinion, looks so good. That's the target, and that's what the end game is all about. So I just love this. And now Ben will do a bit of a montage at the end of this, to like he did with the Baja, because I think that went down really well. I'm not finished yet. I've still got, not on this, ahead of you, or ahead of me announcing to you what my new projects are going to be. And I say projects, watch this space. I've got work to do on my M26. I've got to put the elevator back in and just get that up and running again. It's been a while since I had it run because the elevator's broken, but I'm looking forward to getting that back and operational. And I've got a customized animatronic figure coming back from Sim at Churchill Creations, which will replace my temporary gunner here. And then I'm going to do the camo scheme on my Baja, which is a lot of people have asked me to do that, so I will definitely film that. But it just remains now for me to say thank you. A massive thank you to all of you. You guys support my channel beyond my dreams. All your subscriptions, all of your wonderful comments, all those thumbs up really do help. And I'm still blown away by the support my little channel's getting from all of you. And if you're new to my channel, please do subscribe, because we're now complete this, but we're on to other things in very shortly. And if you like this video, please give me a thumbs up and give me a comment to see. I'd love to know what you think about the finished job altogether. And then next really is a massive thank you to Armortek for doing the work that you do. The research that goes into these models is incredible. The work, the experience behind this, and the effort that the whole Armortek team put into giving us, the builder, the joy of putting something like this together. So a massive thanks to Kean, Monique and the entire Armortek team. Also thanks to Adrian. Adrian is my little saviour. He came down and we worked out how to do the electronics, and we had a lot of head scratching to resolve the electronics. And remember, we come up with the solution is just shut the bonnet and forget about it, kind of thing. So I think that works really well. It's a great option. But I'm also going to say a massive thank you to Ben. Ben, thank you, mate. You are incredible. Your editing of my videos and the way you tidy me up and get rid of all the profanity and everything else that's in these videos is incredible. And so thanks, mate, from the bottom of my heart. I love you dearly. And Ben, I'm sure you're going to do a montage at the end of this, which would be great, because I think that went down well. And also a really big thanks to my wife and my family. My wife in particular, giving me the time, allowing me to spend time in my workshop and supporting me the way she does. So a massive thank you to all of you. So I'll sign off now by saying I'm Tony. I love building these models, and I can't wait to see you in the next video. Hi and welcome back to my channel. I'm Tony, and if you've been following me, you know that I love building these 1:6 scale kits from Armortek. I've just finished my recent project, which is the Hetzer. Hopefully if you followed that, you enjoyed the whole build sequence of that. And I'm going a little bit off piste for my next project, and it's the Series 1 Land Rover.